Let us chant from this famous stotra of Shankaracharya. Mano buddha hamkara cittani naham na cha shutra jivhe na cha ghrana netre na cha vyoma bhumi na tejo na vayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham 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 Shivoham. Now we were completing the last chapter of the Patanjali Yoga-darshan, and here he is arguing the last argument. What is Chaitanya, the consciousness? Is it mind? Because in the Western concept, mind is conscious, and that is the reason. Not only this, even the Buddhist concept, mind is conscious. So obviously they need to explain that mind is not conscious. So this is very, very important, because our whole concentration is going to reveal the consciousness. We are not this body that everyone they accept. Then what we are? The mind? The mostly we think that is the mind. Why? Because mind acts like conscious. It can take decision, it can think, it can ponder, it can remember. So obviously now we will see slowly that is removed. Sada jnataha chitta vrittayah tat prabho purushasya aparinamitvat. Aparinama. Parinama means end, destruction. Aparinama, no change. Whose no change? That is Purushasya. They use the word Purusha. Purusha means the Atman, which is within each and every being. That's called Purusha. That Atman, that is Brahman, that is Purusha. Different names they have used. Now it says, because the Atman, the Lord of the mind, is unchangeable, aparinami, aparinamitvat, unchangeable, the mind's fluctuations are always known to it. The mind is changing constantly. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are agitated, sometimes we are not happy. So many different types of changes in the minds are coming. So moment there is a change, parinami. The moment there is a parinami, it has an end. And the consciousness, the Brahman, the Purusha cannot have the end. So that is the reason of parinamitva. Then what is the mind? Why it is changing? Then it says it is because the Atman is there, and that is why the mind is collecting different information, giving to the Atman, the Chaitanya, and then ultimately is getting working only for the Purusha, his master, his Lord, that is the Atman. Our lakshya, our goal, the human goal is to reach to that Atman, reach to that Brahman, reach to that consciousness. So that's why again and again in different aphorisms, the Patanjali Rishi is trying to make us completely clear about this idea. Do not, because slowly, in the beginning what we think, this body. The moment you ask a child, what is your name? The child will think this body. So it says the name. So Nama, Rupa. Nama means the name, Rupa means the frame, form. So this Nama, Rupa, Jagat, this whole universe is nothing but the name and form. Suppose there is no name, no form, how you will think? When we used to travel in the ship from Calcutta to Port Blair, Andaman, the moment you leave the shore, it is in the mid-sea, you cannot see anything. You look at the top, it is sky. You look in the horizon, it is only the sky, the ocean, nothing is there. If by chance another ship is sailing from distance, all people will shout, oh, there is another ship, and all they will come to see that. Why? We need to record some changes. Our mind cannot be satisfied without the changes. If there is nothing, then we will die. Because we need some changes, so many things. Yesterday, I attended that huge function, 4,000, 5,000 people assembled in one place, all from Bengal, and now it is not pure Bengal, because many of the children, those who came from Bengal, settled over here, the children married the different local people. So naturally all they are mixed up, and they are so proud to say, oh, my daughter-in-law can speak Bengali, or she can understand Bengali. They're all like this going on. So anyway, they are assembled. Why? There's so many varieties. What are the varieties? Foods are there, and shops are there. All the best jewelries from India, they have come, opened the shops, and all. So they are happy. They could get it here itself. Anywhere they will get. But at the same time, they want to assemble, they want to have the friends and the chatting. Children are playing the carom board and running here, there. So the enjoyment. Suppose they say, no, nothing is there. Only Brahman, remember, nothing should be there. What will happen? So the Hindu temple, so many people they go because varieties of gods and goddesses are there. Images of varieties of gods and goddesses. But suppose you go to any other shrine where there is nothing. Suppose you go to Advaita Ashrama, in our shrine nothing is there, only the plain wall. So people are not happy. So that is why mind needs changes, and change of Nama and Rupa, and mind is happy. And so we feel that mind is conscious, it is taking the decision. No, it is not taking the decision. So here, sada jnataha chitta vrittayah tat prabho purushasya aparinamatvat. As sada prabho, that is the Lord, the mind is not the seer. It is only the instrument of the Atman which is eternally conscious. Now, three things we are discussing, we have to keep in mind. We are going to conclude, not today of course, there are many, some other slokas will be, we have to discuss next class. Here, and this is the important thing that we are doing, that is, constantly we are, each and every sloka we are studying. This is very important. Nowhere it will be done, they will give the gist of the whole book. No. Every sloka we have studied for last 2 years, I think. So here we find that it says, the mind is not the seer. Now they are not talking about the body. Now they are not talking about the other things. They are talking about the mind and the consciousness. That is the last level. The mind is not the seer. It is only the instrument of the Atman, which is eternally conscious. The mind is changing all the time, and so it is the object of the perception. The Atman alone, by remaining unchanged, provides a standard by which all perception can be measured. And the Atman, which is not changing at all, that is giving a standard, a static. So all the changes can be measured, can be observed. So that is exactly what Swami Vivekananda will be explaining. He says the whole gist of this theory is that the universe is both mental and material. Yesterday my talk was the future of humanity. So there I tried to explain that materialism is necessary, and at the same time the spiritual development. So Abhyudaya and Nisriyasha, long back they used to say about this. Develop Abhyudaya, this materialistic thing, Nisriyasha, spiritual also. So if the both are balanced, then human being is happy. So here Swami Vivekananda is telling, universe is both, it is mental and material. Both of these are in a continuous state of flux. It is continuously moving. What is this book? It is a combination of molecules in constant change. Swamiji is going a little deep. One lot is going out and another is coming in. It is a whirlpool, but what makes the unity? What makes it the same book? The changes are rhythmical, in harmonious order. They are sending impressions to my mind, and these pieced together make a continuous picture. Although the parts are continuously changing, the mind itself is continuously changing. The mind and body are like two layers in the same substance, moving at different rates of speed, relatively, one being slower and the other quicker. We can distinguish between the two motions. For instance, a train is in motion and the carriage is moving alongside it. It is possible to find the motion of both these to a certain extent, but still something else is necessary. Motion can only be perceived when there is something else which is not moving. But when two or three things are relatively moving, the first perceive the motion of the faster one, then the other slower one. However, how is it the mind is perceived? It is also in a flux. Therefore, another thing is necessary which moves more slowly. Then you must get to something in which the motion is still slower, and so on, and you will find no end. Therefore, logic compels you to stop somewhere. You must complete the series by knowing something which never changes. Behind this never ending change of motion is the Purusha, the changeless, the colorless, the pure. All these impressions are merely reflected upon it as a magic lantern throws images upon a screen without in any way tarnishing it. It gives the complete clear idea. But it's a long reading, of course. The Swamiji is trying to make it very clear is the body, the mind, and the Atman. Body and mind are the same, Body is also moving, but very slow. Mind is faster than the body, but at the same thing. Now, ultimately, one thing is necessary, which is static, observing, and then we reaches to the conclusion, that is the Atman. Now it says, Natat Swabhasam Drishvatvat. Swabhasam Drishvatvat. Being an object, the mind cannot be self-luminous. Again, another argument is coming. Friends, I told you in the beginning that the body, mind, Atman, these three stages. Now, the body we have understood that it changes, but we are not very much conscious about the changes of the mind, though mind is also constantly changing. So, many of the people, even like Buddhism, they are accepting the mind as consciousness. They are thinking that mind is the main. How wrong they are. And that is the difference between the Vedanta and the Buddhism. And that is why it says over here, Natat Swabhasam Drishvatvat. About whom? Tat means that. What is that? Mind. Swabhasam. It cannot luminous, self-luminous. And that's why it cannot see. It says that power is manifested everywhere in nature, but it is not self-luminous, not intelligent also. The Purusha alone is self-luminous and gives its light to everything. In the Upanishad we find Tasya Bhasa Sarvamidam Vibhati. Tasya, it is his. What is that? People say God. But actually it is the Atman, the Brahman, the consciousness. And that is actually manifesting everything. Tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. Now, we see an object over here. Sometimes 9 o'clock, 9:30, when I go from my office to my room, it is all dark. I cannot see anything. But now I can see. Why? Because light is there. And in the darkness, same things are there, but I cannot see. So, similarly, something is necessary which can show. Things are there, I repeat, but we cannot see. Similarly, Swami Vivekananda is telling here that power is manifested everywhere in nature, but it is not self-luminous. That is the reason we need something which will illuminate, we can see it. And that is called Atman, and that is called Brahman. And next, in the 20th aphorism, it says, Eka samaicha ubayo anabodharanam. It's giving the argument, We have to understand that. The first is, in the beginning, it said that this body is just a jada. It's not conscious. Mind is conscious. Mind can perceive, mind can understand. Now, in the last stage, it says, no, mind is also not. It is also Atman. And for that, they are giving one after another argument. The argument is, the mind is constantly changing. Which is changing, it cannot be the permanent thing. A changing cannot perceive another changes. So, naturally there must be something static, the first one. Then second, they say it cannot reveal itself. The third is say, it is telling simultaneously both cannot perceive. Who? The mind. Hence the mind cannot be self-luminous. Now, I am seeing. What is our feeling? When you see something, within our mind there is a consciousness, I am seeing. What I am seeing? That particular object, right? So, that is the argument. When I see, when I observe, I is always there. I am seeing. Not that the seeing, not like that. I am seeing, I am enjoying. That one consciousness is there. At the same time, I am revealing, understanding, seeing the object also. But the mind has not that capacity. Both the things it cannot do together. So all philosophical arguments, and Hinduism is like this. All they will be, every thread, they will take it out and see what is that. Just somebody said and believing, no. Why you say the mind is not? And particularly against the Buddhism, the argument should be very clear. So that is why they are telling like this, the simultaneously both cannot be perceived by mind. Hence, mind cannot be the self-luminous thing. There is another jukti, it's called another jukti. And then next it says, the 21 aphorism, Chittantara drishye buddhi buddhi artiprasanga smriti shankarascha. Shankara means the mixture. Now suppose, another philosopher comes and says, suppose there is another mind which is observing this mind, and when this mind is observing an object, that object coming to this mind which is observed by another mind, it is also possible. Why not? It says, okay, in that case, oti prasanga, then that mind is observed by another, and that mind is observed by another. Where to stop? And in our country, in India, is a huge movement they built up, and they said that even the Prime Minister and the President should be observed by some people. And they will see that Prime Minister and President are not doing anything wrong. Then when those people will do something wrong, we will observe them. Another group. When that group will also do something wrong, another group. The whole country will be one after another. Is it possible? There is no solution like that. The solution is that whatever rules are there must be implemented perfectly for everyone. And then everything will be all right. When you are in a higher office, you must be very, very conscious. If you do something mistake which is harmful for the society, you will be punished. No question. That because he is holding that office, it cannot be punished, or no, not like that. Then now otherwise what will happen? The Lokopala, over that another Lokopala, then another, all lokas will be one after another. It is not possible. And here it also says like this, the one mind is conscious, and that is observing another mind, and that mind is observing the object. Is it possible? Then this conscious mind again will be observed by another mind. So it says, Oti prasanga. Oti prasanga means it will be repeated, and it has no end. See how the arguments goes. Previously, when the two philosophers are sitting face to face and arguing, these are the things. They will be putting the argument, then they will refute. And he will put his argument, the other one will refute. So that was the Baka Yuddha. And people used to come in our kingdom, most of the time it is peaceful, because they are not going to kill others, or they are not going to capture others' property. So they used to develop intellectually. So some people will be different ways. Sometimes some people used to come and tell the stories. Then another person will be there, he will build up another story. Then you have to take the last part of the story and develop immediately another story. So that was another. Then Kabir, they used to immediately form one poem, and when they complete another also. So like that the philosophers. So when the Shankara is coming and challenging, he used to go to the king's court. I have come over here and this is my philosophy. I like to argue. Who will argue? The king's people will come again. They will be sitting. How they used to argue? These are the things. Suppose Shankara is telling Atman is the only thing. Shankara travelled all over the India and he refuted the Buddhist. How he refuted? This way. So this is very intelligent and way of approaching that body is unconscious but mind is conscious. Shankara said mind also not conscious because Atman is at the back of the mind. Why mind is not conscious? Then it says it cannot see and at the same time feel that I am seeing. So it is not conscious. Secondly, if you think of another mind observing this consciousness, that is also impossible because it will go on ati prasanga. So it is not also possible. If we assume another mind observing the fast, there will be no end to such assumptions. The result will be the confusion of the mind. Now 22nd aphorism it says, Chitte aprati sankramaya tadakara patto sabuddhi samvedanam. The pure consciousness of Atman is unchangeable. As the reflection of its consciousness falls upon the mind takes the form of the Atman and appears to be conscious. Chitte means on the mind staff. Aprati sankra maya tadakara patto. Tad akara means that impression, patto. Sabuddhi, I am seeing samvedanam. The English they say that is a reflected glory, basking in the reflected glory. The many of the people, president and his people are there, and if you go, I like to talk to the president. Oh no, it is not possible. You have to take the appointment, these, that. They are also very, not the president himself, but the people who are around, they will be showing that as if they are president. They are taking, this is everywhere it happens. It says that's why they always say the monk should not be in the company of the rich and powerful people. Because always it happens, and in India it is so much, here also. The moment people will know that you are connected with so and so, someone is very powerful in the administration, immediately request will come, will you please recommend my case to him because you know him? And he will feel okay, and you take up the phone, hello, he wants this, please do this. So like that, you are also feeling that is the reason the monks are not supposed to be in the company constantly. So all these connections, why? Because of this. Tadakara chitte. The mind is also reflecting. Why? It is more clear. Body is also reflecting the Atman. But it is so dull, it cannot manifest. The mind is so clear, it is manifesting. It is like the mirror. The glass is there, over which the sunlight is also coming, but it cannot reflect in that way. But when there will be a mirror, immediately the light will reflect, and mirror will think, I am the sun giving the light. And that is what happens with the mind. So we are discussing mind, why we should meditate. We have to control the mind, and that mind will give us, controlled mind will give us peace. That's the ultimate is, mind will give us peace. And that is why we are trying to meditate. But what is this mind? Now we are discussing so many, and finally we have come to this conclusion, the mind is also just like the body, but little clear. That's all, and nothing else. Hence, we should not depend on the mind also. That is also there. So this is chitte, the pure consciousness is reflecting. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is giving a wonderful example to understand this. He said that once someone was boiling a potato and eggplant, and they were boiling naturally, sometimes the potato going up, sometimes the eggplant going up, and they are competing between themselves. See, I am jumping so high, higher than you, you cannot. And then eggplant also going up, come and down, etc. But they think that they are jumping, is it? Below that, there is fire. And similarly, our mind is thinking, I am so sharp, I can understand this, I can understand that. But below that, there is consciousness. The moment that consciousness is off, very intelligent people may become dull, any moment. What will happen then? The mind cannot be the permanent, that is another. Because the mind, we think that it is great because the reflection, and that is why they are explaining chitte aprati sankra maya tadakarapatto sa buddhi samvedanam. It thinks that it is conscious because it appears to be conscious. Then in the 23rd aphorism it says drashti drishyaparatam chittam samartham. Colored by the seer and the seen, the mind is able to understand everything. Colored by the seer and the seen. Seer. Who is the seer? Atman. And the seen is the object. Everything is nothing but the object, and Atman is the seer. And the in between and the center, it remains the mind. And that's why, in a very nicely, it has been explained here. The mind stands midway, as it were, between Atman and external object. Its power to perceive the object is only borrowed from Atman. When we are thinking, is the Atman, it's coming from that, borrowed from the Atman. In a perfectly dark room, a mirror cannot reflect the man who stands before it. We think the mirror is reflecting, right? But can mirror reflect the image of anyone in the dark room where there is no light? No. So naturally, mirror cannot reflect. We need a light. What is the reflection? Reflection of the light only. See how nicely it has been explained. But when a light is brought in, the mirror immediately perceives the man. Similarly, the individual soul is known to Hindu philosophy as the reflected or the shadow Atman. It has no separate existence. It is only the reflection of the Atman upon the mind which gives rise to a separate sense of ego. So this is how they are explaining. What is the mind? Mind is nothing but the reflection of the Atman. Why we are so careful about the mind? Because that is the main. When we go to someone, we take care of the officer who is sitting in the front desk. Otherwise, you won't be able to go in. Similarly, to understand the thing, we have to understand the mind first. The people, they talk about the meditation, and what is meditation? Meditation is nothing but the control of the mind. And what is mind? All these things. Mind is reflecting, and we feel that mind is the consciousness. The mind is not conscious at all. So where we will concentrate? Now the question comes. What is our goal? What we like to know? That is the ultimate question rises. Do you like to know our mind? No. The mind is only the step standing on which we must reach to the higher, and that is called Atman. What you see there again, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said that 3 friends were going, and one friend, he heard that the music and the song and the joy, all these things are coming. So he climbed upon that long hill, the wall, and then he saw something. But he didn't stop to say that what he saw. It was so happy, he only, oh my God, what is, then he jumped to the other side. And the next person, he said, why? He went to the other side. What he saw? Let me also see. Then he went up, and from there he saw, and he was so happy again. Without informing the third, he jumped to the other side. And the third one, he climbed, he saw, restrained himself somehow, came down to inform others. And they are called avatars. They are like Buddha, Jesus, Ramakrishna. And what they saw, no, it cannot be explained. It's so much joy, you cannot explain it, express it in words. It's not possible. So you have to. Only thing, those people came back only to inform you. See, here we go to that stage, and we see that when we are colored by the seer and the seen, the mind is able to understand everything, because it is standing in the middle of the Atman and the objects. So that is the importance of the mind. Why the Hindus are giving so much of importance on the mind? Because of this. And in the prayer, they say, Bhadram karne visrinuama devaha, Bhadram pashe maksha virya yatraha. 2 things only is a prayer. Please give me opportunity to hear good words and to see good things. So these are the 2 things. This is very, very important. Those whose minds are constantly thinking to hear some good words, know for certain that they have improved and they have traveled far away from the materialistic world. Otherwise, they won't be able to listen to it. It will be so very disturbing for them that the materialistic world, and when the whole mind is colored in that materialistic world, and the another mind is colored with the spiritual world, how we will know? How we are progressing? By this. Whenever they will listen to the good words, they are so happy. They like to go and they like to listen and they like to get all inspiration from those words. Bhadram karnevi srinivama devaha. And that's why in every religion, pilgrimage centers are there. Why? Because when they go, when they see wonderful things. What the sights we see? When you go to a pilgrimage center like Amarnath, Badrinath, we see the very old person. Somehow he is going to Amarnath or to Kedar Badri. And why we are going at this age? No, that is my ultimate place and I must go. And he has forgotten all the pains that he is suffering in the body, constantly going and going. So that is the reason we can understand that the mind is so powerful, it can take the whole body, which is unable even. In our e-magazine, I don't know whether you sometimes go through the e-magazines or not many pages. You can just open and see all the lectures that our Swamiji is delivered. We are transcribing it and putting it over there. The very good, wonderful words. Then I try to write an editorial, and 1 page is there for the students and Another page dedicated for the inspiration. Arise, awake, and stop not. That is the inspirational page. If you go, the last time we have published one very ordinary lady, very poor lady, and she used to earn money just by selling some vegetables. You know, in our country, it's not like the big shop. The lady used to bring her small thing and to sit by the side of the road, and the passers-by purchasing, and that way she collected some money. You know what she has done with that money? That little money, she has constructed a hospital. And now the doctors are appointed, nurses are there, all the treatments are going on with that money. That means mind is so strong. If there is a desire as a prayer, then the God's grace and human endeavor can do miracles. And that's why we have published that, and different stories like that, and we try to find out and so that people, but if you don't read, then who will be inspired? Only I get little inspiration because I am reading it finally, and the person who is collecting, he or she may be little inspired. But please go to our website and you will find the e-zine that's called Chicago Calling, the name of the e-zine. And if you go and just click over there, all issues will come right from the after one after another. Now here it says Bauddha Vainashik view. The Buddhism, just one line I will say, the Bauddha Vainashik and Bauddha Vigyanvadi, two different sects are there in the Buddhism. And whenever we go to the Buddhism, we are impressed by seeing their shaven head and the dress and the humble life. No, that is only external. But what is internally, what they are actually following, there is a philosophy. And what is that philosophy based on? They say mind is conscious itself. Hence, there is no need of Atman. They say, Vainashik, that group say, the mind is consciousness. So we don't need any Atman. We don't need any Brahman. We don't need anything apart from the mind. But you have already heard how the mind cannot be the Atman. Why? The first basic thing is it is changing. If it is changing, then someone else must be there who is observing the change. If it is changing, the mind is changing, then who is observing the change? Then it says another mind. And then who will be observing the change of that mind? Another mind. Unlimited way. It cannot be the truth. So it says, and Vigyanvadi, they say, the whole universe is mind. According to them, intellect, the buddhi, projecting itself as seer and the seen. So this is, in short, very, very brief, the Buddhist philosophical stance. They say that mind is only actually the whole thing. So you have to, that's why they do meditation. So much of meditation because of that. And in the Vedanta it says, wherever you see is nothing but the manifestation of the same God. So go and serve the living gods and goddesses. Swami Vivekananda said, each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divinity within by controlling nature, external and internal. And do this either by philosophy or by service or by psychic control or devotion. And be free either by one or combination of both, all, and be free. That is the ultimate goal. And how to get freedom? Understanding the Atman, realizing the self. So that is the total differences. Shankha and Yoga, they say talk about the Purusha and Atma. The consciousness is separate from the mind. So this is the whole argument goes, And then ultimately it says in the 24th sloka, it says, Tat ashankheya vasanabhihi chitram vapi paramartha sanghatta karitvat. It says the mind has innumerable desires. There's no end to it. Continuous desires. That's why in the Ramakrishna Mission symbol, if you see, there is a picture that Swami Vivekananda, there's the waves. The waves are continuously coming, the waves. Waves can never stop. Sometimes some people, they say, and that is just to explain, that he was standing on the seashore and then someone came and told, what's the matter? What do you want to do? No, I like to bathe. So why not go? Oh no, I am waiting for the waves to stop. Then I will go and take a dip. That is not possible. Ya tishtati harim smartum vyaparantagatairapi. The one who is waiting, I will remember God when all these problems will be over. Samudre santakallole snatum ichchati durmati. He is like that fool who is waiting at the shore of the sea, thinking that when the waves are stopped, then only I will go and take the dip. It is not possible. So we have to practice the religion when we are working or quietly sitting or doing in my life or whatever we are doing. Every moment we have to try. So that is Swami Vivekananda. He is explaining the mind has innumerable desires, and Purusha, Atman, for being a compound substance. It's acting, the mind is acting for what? For the Purusha. Why mind is acting like that? Because it is under the Purusha. So he is working for that. It cannot act independently and for its own sake. Mind cannot act for its own sake. And here I will read a few lines from Swami Vivekananda where he is explaining like this. The mind is a compound of various things and therefore it cannot work for itself. Everything that is a combination in this world has some object for that combination, some third thing for which this combination is going on. So, this combination of the mind is for the Purusha. So, anything that is we are making for whom, somebody should utilize. Now, I have drawn a picture. If there is no one to see it, enjoy it, appreciate it, or criticize, then what is that for? That is the main thing. And that is the problem also. Most of the people, educated people, they will read some books and then immediately they will write a book themselves. And that problem comes from us, because they always think the Swamis has no work, they are simply sitting over here. So they will say, Swamiji, I am coming to meet you and give you a book that you must read and review. Oh my God. I told, that is good that you are going to give the book, but I don't know whether I will be able to read it or not. But anyway, so this is going on. Somebody, another was shouting at me, why can't you sell my book? You must sell my book and get all the money. You are asking for donation, you need not to, simply sell my book. Then I told, why don't you do that yourself and give the money to us, then both the problems are solved. You won't do. So like that, when we are creating something, we expect somebody will enjoy it. And most of the time we receive one email, very funny, and the title of the email is, subject of the email is, criticize immediately. What is that? He has explained, he's something that means you have to read that, and then you have to criticize. So who asked him to, in the first place, to write that? Then someone should go through. So this is the problem. Then one Swamiji was there, he was the president, Bhutesh ji. Someone told Swamiji, why you have not written a book? You are so knowledgeable, why you have not written a book? Then he said, no, I have problem in my knees. So what is that to write a book? You have problem in the knees, but why you are not writing the book? No, who will sell it afterwards? I have to go different places to sell the book. That's why I am having the problem in my knees, I am not writing. So he was joking. The problem is that the moment you are creating something, you expect that somebody should enjoy. The mind is creating so many things. So obviously mind is also expecting someone should enjoy. Who will enjoy? The Purusha. So that is also another way Swami Vivekananda is telling that so many desires are there in the mind. But what for? The one person is thinking that I will build a house, I will purchase a land, I will build a house, then my children will come and stay, then my relatives will come, we will call our friends and have some party here. All the desires are there. But suppose there is nobody, what is the desire for? That is the main thing. So unless and until there is a desire, there is no creation. As the mind is creating, that means, as the mind is having so many desires, that means there is someone which the mind is expecting, will observe and enjoy, and that is the Purusha, the Atman. And finally today, on the 25th aphorism, Vishesha Darshina Atmabhava Bhavana Vinivrittihi. The men of discrimination ceases to regard the mind as Atman. Vishesha Darshinaha. Vishesha Darshinaha means men of discrimination. Those who are not discriminating the mind, not understanding the mind, they may think that mind is the main. It is not. So Vishesha Darshina Atmabhava Bhavana Bini Vrittihi. Those, and now finally they are concluding in this way, that those who are discriminative type, they will not accept if anybody says the mind is the final. No, it cannot be. Similarly, slowly we have to someone coming and telling this is God. And immediately we are accepting, oh, this is God. Why? So many people they told this is God. Why not you stand and understand? Swami Vivekananda in his life, everybody used to say Sri Ramakrishna is God himself. He is the avatara and he is the high, spiritually high person. Vivekananda told, wait, you are telling, perhaps you have understood, let me understand. Simply you are telling and I will accept? No, that won't do. I have to understand. So that is the way one should utilize his discriminative faculty. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, when you go to market, you choose the things. And when you go to the spirituality, why you become fool? So you must be intelligent to understand who is a religious person. Then only, just because he is good looking, just because he can speak well, just because he is showing this, just because some people are coming, a good number of people are coming, I will also go. Oh, if you don't know that there so many people are going. But Dad, wait, I have to see where I am going for. So that is called Vishesha Darshina. Atma Bhava Bhavana Vinivrittihi. So that is the most important thing. The man of discrimination ceases to regard the mind as Atman. Thank you very much for coming. And the next Sunday, one guest Swami will come. He will give a talk over here in the Sunday discourse. And the last Sunday of this month, we will conclude this our discussion on why we should meditate. And we will go for something new. Let us conclude in this way by chanting Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo vibhutvacha sarvatra sarvendriyanam navasangatam naiva muktirnameya Chidananda Rupa Shivoham 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 I am the auspicious, I am the blessed, I am the auspicious, I am the blessed, I am the auspicious, I am the blessed. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, if you repeat again and again that you are free, you will be free. If you repeat again and again that you are pure, pure you will be. So every time we have to tell our mind that I am auspicious and I am blessed, I am the Shiva,